We'll get this party started. So, first of all, Chris, before we get too far into this, thank you very much I know you're going to be on a more consistent basis here, and it's much appreciated. I know I feel like I come on here and I'm an auctioneer every Friday. We love sharing recognition and having guests on from different places. And even though we're a part of your crew, you just come bring things from a different light. So, and it's much appreciated. Thank you for your time this morning. So
yes,
let's see. Good morning, Amy. And everybody jumps on right at 8 o'clock. Let's see. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning.
Got Mr. Pitts on. Good morning, Mr. Pitts. Let me make sure I don't forget anybody. I already got Ramon. Who am I missing? Good morning, Andy Callis. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Trent. Hey, good morning, Pitts. All right. Let's go to our leadership. Let's start with, hey, Tim, you're up. Any good news you'd like to share for yourself or your team? Tim Below. All right. Mark, you're up.
Pretty decent week. Recruits are starting to get out more, learn a lot on every appointment. Picked up a new recruit yesterday, a licensed agent, seasoned veteran in the business. So I'm looking forward to having you actually talk to him next week, Corey.
Awesome.
Otherwise, looking for a big push at the end of the month here. Going to travel some next week, try to write some numbers and keep on plugging away.
Very good. Appreciate all you do down there, Mark. And we know you guys continue to big contributors to the team for sure. Thank you. All right, Pitts, you're up. Anything from yourself or your crew? I don't know if Tim and there we go. Gregory, you there? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with those guys. Chris, you're up. Any good news? Oh, there's Megan. I'm like, that is not Tim. We'll get him when he comes back. All right, Gregory, you're up. Thanks, Megan.
Sorry, I was on a call with a client, but yeah, everything is good. Good to see everybody. I mean, you guys are just having a phenomenal week. I've been spending some extra time trying to get my new agents onboarded, so I had to get them together because I got to get my numbers back where they need to be at. Now I know how you feel, Corey. I hear from people in your numbers.
It makes a difference. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, everything's good.
I had to drop my wife's rig off here.
You're good. All right, hold on. There's a couple more people trying to jump on here. All right. Thanks, Chris. Is that it, bud?
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. All right. Tim's dropping off his wife. Tim, can you talk or are we going to keep moving? All right.
No, I'm good, man.
Go ahead. Any good news, Tim, for yourself or worldwide?
Oh, man. No, just never about myself. I'm just glad I woke up today. But no, Renee and Mariana and several other people had really good weeks this past week. So just want to, congratulate them. Just, just feel the momentum shifting right now, man. That's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. And those ladies, as you mentioned, and everybody, right at 20 riders last week. Again, 2 weeks of back-to-back over 50K, 60 plus K week before last, and 50 plus K week before last, and then another 65 the week before that. So can't knock those numbers. Of course, we're continuing to get bigger, better, stronger, and appreciate all you guys are doing. Thanks, Tim. All right, Chris, now you're up for good news.
Me, Chris?
Yes, you, Chris.
All right. Well, hey, you okay? So I just, looking through some of the issue pay numbers through Ignite, and a couple of things stick out. One, you've got Renee Barker, that's the top out of y'all's group, almost 10,000, right at 9,993 through the first 2 weeks of October. So that's great. I noticed Mr. Gregory Pitts, he is the number one producer for our group as far as issue paid with Americo. And so congrats to you for that.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Yeah, so almost 6,000. And what's funny is that we had a conversation after the first time that I was on, right? Because you were like, I don't remember the exact conversation, but Americo, it does come in a little bit higher on the final expense side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a real gift to the agents because once we're done with it, and we can move on. right? We can help more people in that. So even I can still get better at that. So just congrats to you for that and for a great month. I look at one of the guys I've been working with for a while out in North Carolina, Ray Taft. Ray came out of 25, maybe even 25 plus years working with Toyota and dealerships, worked his way up to general sales manager there. And he went through a lull for about 3 months earlier this year, but he really poured money into to leads, several different lead sources. And last month he finished, I think, right below 20, and he's over almost 18,000 through the first 2 weeks of this month. And so, just putting money into the business, it's a reap and sow, or sow and reap, right? We don't sow anything, which are leads or, referrals, then there's going to be nothing to sow, or not as much. So those are a couple of things that stick out to me about just individual performances. Corey, as far as good news, the other thing is I was working with one of my sales leaders that lives about 5 hours away from me, and I spent several hours with her yesterday going through the different carrier websites so that she can better help her team and see how her business works. And she said to me, it seems like we're just, FFL is adding a lot of different carriers. And I said, when you're the top insurance marketing organization by 10 times, companies, they are most likely beating down the door of Sean Mike and FFL, say, please sell our products. We're going to create our own products for you. I mean, we've got several that have done that already. We're going to offer bonuses to you. And I saw a thing from Sean Mike, a quick video, and he said that before he before he partnered with Integrity, October 2019, Family First Life issued 7 million. And we've issued over 20 million through the first 2 weeks of October, 2 years later. Who grows like that? I mean, not at that size and what we do. Life insurance is not a trend. It's not a phase. It's not like .com. Life insurance has been around since probably the late 1700s here in the United States. So what a blessing. I mean, great news for FFL and those of us that are a part of it.
I'll tell you what, Chris, I'm going to add 2 things to that. What you said is spot on. So first of all, you guys, this is Chris Schiavo. Chris is, I guess, 2 levels above us, if you will, from that perspective, keeping it positive. Chris is an EVP. He's going to talk to us today and be a more consistent contributor just because we asked him to, just to bring a different light to things here with our organization. But Chris is the founder president of Ignite, organization doing well over 500,000 a month. I think we did a podcast, Chris, I don't know, it seems like forever ago now, but just doing big things. You'll never meet in this business, in my opinion, a more genuine person that's truly willing to help every single time you call. Me and Tim called Chris, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago and said, hey, Chris said, how can I help? He said, hey, you mind being, coming on and just kind of shedding some light or giving a different lens to the business and how you do things with Ignite, etc. And he was like, absolutely, I'm committed to it. So Chris will be on the 3rd Friday of every single month, kind of pouring into us. So thank you, Chris, again for being on and definitely were the good news. And
of course,
I think you caught Gregory off a little off guard there, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, you did. You got me good.
Yeah.
So here's the second thing. So, and this goes right in hand with what Chris was mentioning. So before we did our next level training at the St. Louis office yesterday, there were some things floating around. Chris, I don't know if you saw this or not, but it was floating around through Andrew Taylor's, I think it's VP and above thread. And somebody had posted that that new comp grade had came out and it had reduced in some points 15 all the way up 30, 35, 40% at some levels with Mutual of Omaha.
Correct.
So what happened, I think literally this happened so fast. I posted it in our leadership thread. By the time I posted it in our leadership thread, there was another message that came out in Andrew's thread.
Yes.
And within less than an hour, there was another one that came out that Sean Mike had made a call to Mutual of Omaha and was going back to what it was. So what Chris is talking about, and I'll go ahead and put this on record because it's recorded. you got to do what you got to do for your family. But if people leave here and go to another IMO, I'm like, you're crazy. You're getting the top comp, right? You're getting trained, you're getting developed. Now you have offices to go to, you got work spots, you got all these other things. You've got tons of trainings to go to that are free. I interviewed somebody yesterday. That's what the company is probably going to be coming on here. Every event they have every quarter, it's $200 to $250 for them to pay to go to the event. They have to pay to go to the event to get trained. That's insane to me. I have to pay you to train me to sell the product so that you can, it just doesn't make any sense. So what Sean has put together, and think about how big and how old Mutual of Omaha is. Sean made one call within a matter of about probably 90 minutes and flipped that combat just like that. It's pretty amazing.
It is. And, they said this at the conference, just as far as Mutual of Omaha, they've been around, I think, since 1929, and no other IMO has issued more life insurance than Family First Life in the history of Mutual of Omaha. And that was in February of 2020, or no, excuse me. The time goes by fast. That was just this year.
Yeah. And what shows you
this
about
year.
the opportunity that we have here. I mean, you look at what
Absolutely.
Dave's been doing with Velocity. I mean, Chris, I don't know how many years you've probably been in just as long as I've been doing this, but to be able to come here, and we've been fortunate to have success at some places, but to be able to do it so quickly here and make it sustainable and continue to grow, like literally anyone can do it if you're willing to put the work in. Doesn't matter what your background is and those kind of things. So I think that's what Sean's created.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All
right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
Very cool. So we'll go ahead and shift to recognition here, and then we're going to give Chris the floor to make sure we get you guys out of here on time, etc. I have a big ask here. I know we're all busy. I know we're all doing stuff and everything else. But you guys, and I'm not complaining because we should probably have another 20 plus people in here. When you guys join the meetings, can you guys please be on time? And this is the only reason I'm saying this. You would tell your children, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful at all. You would tell your children to be on time, right? If you had something going on that was important to you, you would be on time. We have a guest on here, and we're trying to flip around and do this, that, and the other. I understand people have lives, but if we have a guest on, guys, I'm asking you guys professionally, please be on time. Because if we have a guest from a carrier or something like that, and we're flipping around, going back and forth and everything else, what do you think they're thinking? If we need them for help or something, they're going to say that's not a real professional organization, right? And we are. So I'm just asking you guys, if you're going to get on, please get on time. I don't think that's a big ask. Thank you. All right. Recognition, which is one of my favorite parts of the meeting. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Before I do this, Amy, I don't want to catch you off guard, but do you have anything from an administrative standpoint we need to know? Hopefully you're not fighting with dogs right now. All right, I'll come back to her. HCMS. So as you guys are getting your carriers, please make sure you're getting them into HCMS. Of course, home office is still working on getting all of the carriers on HCMS, and obviously at some point moving away from or not using Insurance Bay as much. The new monthly bonus, I guess it's going on a couple months now, but Sean has put this in, giving back even more when he really probably doesn't have to. I think a lot of CEOs, if they did more than Sean did or did as much, it'd be a pretty incredible deal. But 30,000 issue pay. And what we mean by issue pay, guys, is they make their first payment, it hits the books, and then you get paid a few days later, right? $30,000 of issue pay business is $500 bonus to you, non-charge backable bonus. 40,000 is 750, 50,000 is 1,000, and it just continues to go up. And I guarantee you here, when this next one comes out, it's probably going to be over 200,000, because we have people now. I think I saw last week or week before, there was 3 people that issued over 100K, well over 100K. We got people that are doing 30, 40, 50 a week. So that 150, I guarantee, is going to go 175, 200, which is absolutely amazing. Last couple of weeks, we'll post this. If you are a WorkSpots member, you can simply come out here. I'll post this on our Slack line. But you can go out, take a picture of the QR code. The left-hand side is Android users. The right-hand side is Apple. You can fill out again, if you're a WorkSpots user, you can fill out a review about, just something quick, positive about WorkSpots. But before you send it, screenshot it, send it to Fabiana. Right there, you can see on the bottom right-hand side of this screenshot here. Send it to Fabiana, and then what she'll do is she'll send you a code for 25% off of all internet leads that you can use at any time up till the end of the year. So it'll take you 30 seconds to do it. and get yourself a 25% discount. All right. Our next level training is coming up December 14th and 15th. I think we're up to 3 or 4 people that have RSVP'd. Please RSVP by the 8th. The last training we had was very, very well attended. I think our overall rating from the people that were there was, I think it was like 9.7. So I think we put on a good training. We'll continue to do what we can to help you guys get better and be more resourceful in the field. So our meeting structure, I get questions about this on a daily basis. What time are the meetings? Where are the meetings? The first thing is, if you would have gone through boot camp, which all of you guys should have, if you would have gone through boot camp, that would have gotten you connected to FFL USA and a couple of other organizations. So you know when all of the meetings for FFL are going on, if you're on Facebook, which most of us probably are. And then we have Mondays and Thursdays, which are dial days. So if you're not getting on those dials, I know I try to get on every single time we have them. There's usually 40, 50 people. So Dave Witchard's, and I know it's all of our team, but Dave Witchard's team has somewhere around 6,200 people that are on Slack. And there's usually the same 50, 60 people that are on there. So again, if you're really trying to get better and you're trying to get better on the phone, which this whole business is the phone because the in-home portion takes care of itself, really, you really should be on there. We can't tell you what to do, but that's the reason why these things are being put on to help you guys out. Every Monday and Thursday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, you're going to hear some of the top producers in the country making dials. You can ask them questions. Why did they say what they said, etc. It's pretty neat. Wednesdays is our recruiting and onboarding meeting. So if you're in the process of going through licensing right now, this is a great meeting for you to be on. If you're in the process of wanting to start recruiting, even if you say you don't, I highly recommend attending some of these meetings, because what's going to happen is once you do get a recruit, the world seems to speed up a little bit, and everything. Even if you've been on these meetings a couple of times, you start getting a little bit confused. It's kind of funny to watch people go through. But if you're wanting to build an organization, which you don't have to, we hold these meetings for you so that you make sure that you're equipped and know what's going on. And last 2 things here in reference to training, we have our meeting today, which we have the honor and privilege to have Mr. Executive Vice President Chris Schiavo on, that's going to talk about how to write $8,000 to $10,000 a week, every week. So we'll move past that, and we have different guests on every week, or somebody on our leadership, or one of our brokers or agents that's doing well that would like to train. Please let us know. That's how we get better. Iron sharpens iron. And then last but not least, every Saturday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, I put on a training. So if you have questions about how do I get through an Aetna application, or can we talk lead strategy, phone scripts, can you tell me what work spots is? How do I find out what to do if somebody has HIV, or, what if somebody has high blood pressure? Like, any questions that you want to ask, nothing is off the floor. You can ask whatever you want, and we'll literally walk you through it, show you, and help you through the process. So those are starting to be more well attended. Again, every single Saturday, I'm committed to doing these meetings to help out as much as we possibly can. All right, our string program. This is last week we had 17 people on. That's the most people that we've ever had on a string. Most people we've ever had on a string. So we're just going to start at the bottom here. We got Mr. Michael Wolfers for the first time. He's on a 2-week string. So congratulations to Michael. Mr. Paul Zimney, 2 weeks in a row. Great job, Paul. Chosen, 2 weeks in a row. Ethan Ford, 2 weeks in a row. Joey Richard, 3 weeks. Christy Polsak, 4 weeks. Way to go, Christy. Alex Vogt. And good job, Alex, and absolutely fantastic job there, Ramon, training Alex. Ramon Santana picking up another recruit yesterday, 4 weeks in a row. Brian Smagala, 7 weeks in a row. Mariana's at 8 weeks in a row. Trent Moses, 10 weeks in a row. Gregory Pitts, proud of what you're doing, man. 12 weeks in a row, getting ready to go over that 13-week threshold. Renee Barker, she's recruiting, she's training, she's building an organization. She's now got admins, back-to-back agent of the month, and now 26 weeks in a row. Congratulations, Renee. And Tim Belo, 36 weeks in a row, guys. So think about this: 13 weeks in a quarter. Tim has written business every single week for basically 60% of the year, 70% of the year, 75% of the year. Absolutely fantastic job, Tim. And what do we say about the great one here? 39 weeks in a row, has moved through and earned his next award, if you will, for the King of String. And 39 weeks in a row. Congratulations, Mark. Huge shout out to you, my friend. And that rounds out our 16 teammates that are on at least a 2-week string and have protected families. Very well done. Last week, 3 new teammates that wrote last week, 8 total recruits. Again, 54,292 submitted. That is 2 weeks back to back of over 50,000. So getting back to our old winning ways, if you will. But more importantly than that, 20 people protected families last week, and that will continue to grow. Ramon Santana, 168, keeping a string alive. Gregory Pitts, 517. Brian Swigala, 523, 1 family protected. Paul Zimney, Trent Moses, Christy Polsak, 936. Mario Shannon out there in Florida, 1219. Amy Hilliard protecting her first family. Way to go, Amy, 1318. Michael Salazar protecting his first family, 1354. Mr. Joy Richard down there in the Bayou, $1,700, 2 families protected. Chosen, huge week last week is of over 4,900, actually 5,400 last week. Comes back with another decent week this week of 1,791. Ethan Ford, 1,872, 3 families protected. Got Mr. Michael Wolford, 2,598, 2 families protected. Mark Williams, $3,023, 4 families protected. Robert Funk down there in Texas, Richmond, Texas, writes his first policy, huge policy, $4,080, 1 family protected. And you guys are going to see a lot more of him. Mr. Tim Belo, again, Mr. Consistency, always in the top 5, 4847, 6 families protected. That's absolutely tremendous, Tim. Alex Vogt, again, $4,899, his best week yet. Doing a fantastic job, led there with Ramon, 3 families protected. And Miss Mariana Belo coming off of a bronze week last week of over 11,000, 11,613, if I remember correctly, and another week of $8,495 with 5 families protected. And again, top of the heap again, bronze level producer last week of over 10.6, and another week of over $11,000, $11,086, 9 families protected. Wrote 1/5 of our business last week. Absolutely tremendous job, Renee, and a super high app count, which I think is really important. Just well done. 54,292 with 51 total families protected. Again, Renee Barker, 11,086, our number 1 broker from last week. Miss Mariana Grawl, again, these ladies just keep dueling back and forth week in and week out. So congratulations, ladies. 84.95. Well done, Mariana. And then rounding it out, Mr. Alex Vogt with his record week of $4,899 here in the great STL. Again, bronze level producer, Renee, back-to-back bronze level weeks. Just absolutely fantastic job, Renee. Congratulations to you. Over 10,000 over 10,000 submitted, if you will, week to week. Now, you guys heard Chris mention this a little bit ago. The reports that came out yesterday were a little bit off, so some of these numbers might be a little weird, but we're going to do our top 10 because we're more than 3/4 away done with the month. So we got Mr. Chosen. We're just going to do our top 10 again. Chosen, $3,025 issue paid so far for the month. Mark Williams, $3,335. We got Joy Richard, $3,408. Brian Spagala, $3,664. Jeremiah Drobny, $3,806. Well done by Jeremiah. We got Christy Polsak, $4,431. Sharice Basie out there in Oklahoma City, $5,425. Mr. Pitts, $5,898. Way to lead from the front there, Gregory. Tim Belo, every single week, every single month, always in the top 5, every single time. Well done there, Tim. $86.59. And then Renee Barker, $9,993.24. Our top producer brokers so far for the month. I'm going to go ahead and slide by this. Yesterday, the first day of the month, of the week. Our week starts on Thursday. Got Mr. Tim Belo there at $23.95 for coming in the top spot. We have Miss Kelly Bain writing her first application with Moose, so another new producer here in St. Louis at $12.82. And then Christy Polsak, Miss Consistency here at $489, bringing our total to $4,166 with 6 total applications. Now, before we swing to Mr. Chris, I want to make sure you guys see this. We post this pretty consistently on Slack. These are the levels, if you will, of Family First Life. So 10,000 issue paid in a month or even in a week is a bronze level producer. 15,000 is silver, 20,000 is gold. You can see this goes up, up, up and away, if you will. And emerald is 100,000 or more, if even a month or a week. If you have any questions, let us know. And then coming up here, you guys, everybody probably, if you've written business or issue paid business with Americo, 45,000 on the books will get you an 8% bonus as long as you're in good standing. We continue to post this as well. It's a great way to make an additional income. Obviously, we're going to do the right thing by our clients, but it's a great way to make an additional income with one of our top providers. Last but certainly not least, we have the launch meeting that's coming up here in Phoenix, I believe. Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. If you haven't registered, register. It's going to do great things for your business. If you're building a team, it will do great things for your team. And we have some administrative stuff. Amy was able to show me there's a ton of people that have signed up for this. So go ahead, get yourself registered, get registered early to make sure that you have a spot. Last thing that we'll cover here is the annual convention. I know it seems like it's light years away. February will be here before we know it. A lot of our team is here in the Midwest, so it'll be great to be out there when it's cold here in the Midwest, to be out there in beautiful Miami. Make sure you get yourself registered. Pretty simple to get registered. Just go on there, fflconvention.com, fill out the information, even if you don't think you're going to go, and get yourself signed up for that. So Amy, let me see if I can, I'm sure you're probably fighting with your mute button or something like that, but anything administrative that we needed to cover? I don't know if we lost her or not. All right. So we're going to go ahead and swing back to Chris to talk to us about how to consistently write 8,000 to 10,000 a week. Chris, thank you again for your time, my friend.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Corey. So I wrote down a couple of things as far as 8,000 to 10,000 a week. So we need four things, in my opinion. Of course, attitude is ingrained in all of this, but we need time, we need effort, we need leads, and we need training. So time, effort, leads, and training. Without any one of those four things, I feel that the results, and I've seen the results either in myself or in other people, they're just significantly lower. So as far as time, I wrote down a couple of things. Under time, we need a schedule, right? We've got a business, and we need a schedule of when we're going to run our business, okay? Because I've heard it said, and maybe it was Tim or Corey, that when we don't treat this like a business, it's like a vending machine. We're just working whenever we need a little bit of cash, okay? And you can do that, that we're totally independent, and that's not going to get $8,000 to $10,000 a week. So first is set your schedule. If you need, I think for that, what's important is that you talk with, if you can't figure out what activity you need or how much production you need to reach your goals, then talk to your upline or talk to Tim or Corey, and they can let you know how much leads you're how many leads you're gonna need, how many sales you're gonna need. Okay, so that part of your schedule you can work through with somebody if you're not sure. And then as far as the time that you have available and that you need to make available, that you need to discuss with your significant other, your spouse. Make sure that they're on board and that they understand, okay, during, Monday through Friday, or here on Mondays and Thursdays on my dial days, I'm going to be at the office. I'm going to leave the house at 7 o'clock, and I'm not going to be back sometimes until maybe after 7 o'clock in the evening. Let them know what to expect. Okay, so that's the first thing, is you've got to have a written schedule, and if you live with other people in the house, they need to know about it as well. And talk to your upline so that your schedule will help you reach whatever goal it is that you have in mind. Okay, because if you create a schedule from 10 to 4, that's great that it's written and that other people know that your schedule's from 10 to 4. But if your goals are $8,000 to $10,000 a week, you're just not going to reach it. Not even close. The next thing, under time, it's so important that you keep, I'd say, between 7:30 and in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, or sometimes even later, you keep your activities to income producing. And that goes for me too. Income producing activities between 7:30 in the morning and 7:30, 8 o'clock, or later in the evening. So often, any business owner can be distracted by things that they feel like maybe need to get done. But we've got to keep it to income producing activities. So if you're new and starting out, which I think most people on here are probably within their first 3 to 6 months, income producing activities would be dialing the phone and either presenting over the phone or Zoom or running appointments or door knocks in the field. So in my opinion, those are really your only income producing activities. Okay. Recruiting, that is an income producing activity, but it's not going to produce income, and it's going to be a small amounts that'll come 2, 3, 4 months later. So if you want to generate $8,000 to $10,000 a week, the income producing activity are dials and running appointments, either face to face or over the phone. Okay. Now I touched on Gregory being the top Americo producer so far for the month for all of FFL Ignite. When you write Americo, there's less work on the back end. In fact, I've got a case with another company. Well, I don't care, Mutual of Omaha, that I'm still waiting on. They wanted to adjust the effective date. Well, it's taking them 5, 6 business days, and I've made several calls to follow up. That takes my time to do that. So when you do Americo, there's less work that you have to do on the back end to have the policy issue. Okay, it's just the customer service. So that takes time. It takes care of time, schedule, and income producing activities. The next thing is your effort. Now, this is one of the things that can be either subjective or objective. So your effort, golly, I've been working so hard and I can't reach my goals. Okay. That's subjective unless you track your activity. As a business owner, I've been in the restaurant industry many years, and I've got good friends that own restaurants. So I relate a lot of this to restaurants, but there's no way that my buddy that owns several restaurants doesn't know exactly what his food cost is, or his labor hours, or his managers know that information. They're not going to guess. So how many dials have you made today? Yeah, so I've been on the phone all day, but I haven't been able to set my 15 appointments. Well, if you can't answer to yourself how many dials that you've made, it's just subjective that you've been working really hard. But that effort has to be there. That's the oomph to make that time worthwhile, to make that time income producing. Without the effort, the time is not going to be income producing. So track your dials, track the appointments, the number of appointments that you run, track the number of people that you talk to, that you've door knocked. Track all that so that you can see honestly for yourself. Corey, he doesn't need to know your numbers. Tim doesn't need to know your numbers. However, if you want their help, they need to know what type of effort you're making. Okay, that's the first thing that I ask somebody that comes to me and by the way, nobody comes to you when they're writing 10, 15,000 a week. They come to you when they're struggling. Okay, when they've been struggling for a few weeks. And the first thing I ask them, how many leads have you been buying? What does your lead flow look like? And how many dials are you making? How many appointments are you setting? How many are you going on to? Because without that information, I really can't provide any value to them. Okay. So track your effort. That'll make it objective instead of subjective. The next thing, leads. Lead flow for 8,000 to 10,000 a week. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be every dial day. There's fresh leads. You can also have great success on leads that you've had for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. People make appointments and make sales from those, but it's also important to have a consistent lead flow. Now, the next thing with leads is to be more effective. It's got to be diverse. It has to be diverse. Leads can be different from the same lead source from 1 week to the next, or from 1 month to the next. Okay, so I'm out in the sales field every single week, 3, 4 days a week, and sometimes more. And we run a lot of the same counties, where there are times where those counties, they're just from the CRM, it's just not as effective. But that's why those aren't our only lead sources. When I first started, we did a lot of Facebook ads that we purchased from all Leadrilla and Bang Bang, and those were real effective, and then they weren't. Doesn't mean that they're not effective some other counties, some other zip codes, but as a business owner and having diverse lead sources, then it doesn't matter. If you've got 2 or 3 or 4, there's always 1 or 2 of those that are going to be super effective.
Hey, Chris, can I
Yes, sir.
guess little pattern interrupt here. And guys, please feel free. That's why Chris is on here. You're talking about somebody that's probably, Chris, what do you average a week on average?
Well, so for this whole year, I've averaged 22,000 issue pay a month.
Right. So
So
you're
that's about
5,000,
50.
200. Right. So guys, that's 240,000 of income. Chris has a team that's doing $500,000 or more, literally, or more every single month. From that perspective, back to the lead flow. I'm sorry, I got a little carried away there. But from
No, go ahead.
So you're buying CRM, you're buying things from third-party vendors, those kind of things as well, to make sure you're having a very diverse lead flow, right? Can you speak to the ones that, and I know what somebody I'm training with right now, start telling them like a lead. He called in some old leads that I had that were literally just in a box, and he's setting appointments off of them that I couldn't get. And some of these leads were literally 6-7 months old.
Okay.
So yeah. So when you're talking about lead flow diversity, can you go in, not to go super deep, but what do you mean by that from like a new agent perspective?
Okay. So from new agent perspective, I would say that means the instance and the new. I would say, maybe the final expense mailers, if you have those in your area. If you work mortgage protection, then that's going to be some of maybe the call-ins that you have available on the CRM. But I'm also talking about, Leadrilla. Put in an order for 20, 30, 40 leads a month from there. There's several buy per lead programs through FFL. We're trying a new one out this week, a new more targeted Facebook campaign. So it can also be just geographically too, Corey, because I'm a creature of habit. And I worked in one county outside of Houston, Montgomery County for Robert there in Richmond. We bought leads, 100. We were doing 60 per dial day, so 120 leads a week for 4, 5, 6 months until I just got tired of driving around that county because it's huge. And then we were starting to see a lot of the same people. We were always just buying the new leads. And then so we go work counties around where we live. And so then those were starting to dry up a little bit. And then so either look to a different geographical area and or add some Facebook leads, some direct mail leads, some AIDS leads. There's other options that are available. Even going back, like you said, I signed 300 leads to one of the guys I work with in San Antonio last week. And the very next day, he submitted like $4,000 in business from those leads that were all from May of this year. So 5-6 months old. So did that answer your question? So just from different lead sources or even different leads types within the CRM.
Awesome. Guys, any questions for Chris from that perspective? I think we maybe had a couple come in. I want to make sure I don't miss them.
So here's kind of a rule of thumb that I've seen in this business, and you'll hear Sean say this: if what you're doing is working, don't change it. Okay, so we did buy for 7 months. We went on a roll, only instance and new. Then we saw that starting to decrease, and then so now we're looking for different lead sources or different areas for me to work, and then I'll go back to some of those counties again. So if what you're doing is working, if you're happy with the production that you're getting, keep doing it. Don't change it. But when things start to change, we've got to be able to flow and modify our business as well.
Very good.
Any other questions around leads?
Any other questions, guys, around leads? You're talking to somebody that's issuing well over 20K a month.
Hey, Chris, this is Gregory. How you doing? And thanks for the
Yes, sir.
thanks for the big encouragement. I'm really excited about what you said so far. The lead flow, I know you're talking about stuff must be diverse and all that. That's fantastic. Is there, and I know we do our lead calls on Monday and Thursday. Do you call any other days as well?
That's a good question, Gregory. Sometimes we do. I'll give you, this business is diversifying in just literally the 15 months that I've been here. And the reason is because the size of FFL is growing. And so the resources are growing as well. Okay. So that's why we have to grow and change with it. Okay. Those of us that have come maybe from direct sales, really that doesn't change too much outside of the technology. So we can be real comfortable with just doing the same thing the way it's always been done. Right. But with here, like I've got a gentleman that he just does his sales over the phone, Cody Witzel, and he's issued about 10,000 this last month, and he makes calls from 7:30 to noon, Monday through Friday, and he sets appointments for that day or the next day or right there on the phone. Okay, so that's how he does his business. That doesn't work for me. I'm used to the face-to-face. Okay. But there are people, I know when people get no-shows, if you're not working with a large organization yet, when you're on a no-show, if you don't have somebody else close around, I mean, get on the phone and call those people again. If y'all were on the call with there's that young man Michael Sandman yesterday, he was calling 27 times, his leads, but he issued over 70,000 last month as a 19-year-old. So we can't have a whole lot of life experience or experience in sales or insurance, right? But he's got the work. He's got the work. And see, when we've got the work, everything else we can make work.
And Chris, you make a good point. Great question, first of all, Gregory. I'll throw
Thank
this
you,
out
Gregory.
there. Well, you mentioned Sandman. They had him on the other day. He's just following the system. You don't have to be smart when you just follow the system, right? That's what it is. I'm not really good on the phone. So what I do, I buy more leads to make up for that. When I get really good on the phone and set appointments and lock them down, guess what? More of my appointments are better. I don't care who you are. Steve Giordano, one of the top agents in the country, I guarantee you he gets stood up. I guarantee you people know Sean. I guarantee it. He just stacks the deck in his favor. He's had so many appointments that it doesn't matter. He knows that. Same thing what you were just talking about a couple seconds ago, which was a good call yesterday too. Here's the other thing. And I want to make sure we talk about this on a very consistent basis, especially with, I uttered to say that the name, but COVID, right? You have some people that freak out about, they don't want people in their homes, or maybe they have that medical condition that leaves them a little bit more at risk, right? So there's three things. And I know what I've been training one of our newer agents here today, over the last couple of weeks. When you call people, give them the three options. We can do it right now. We can do this via Zoom, or we can do it face-to-face, which I prefer. Give them the option, because I know when I got here, I was just following the training. If somebody said I didn't want somebody to come to my house, I was like, okay, because of COVID, I'm like, okay, I'll call you when COVID's over. How stupid is that? But it's what we were trained to do, so you just weren't thinking. And then somebody else had an epiphany, right? And said, well, why are we not doing that? We have people that sell over the phone. I've sold tons of times over the phone. But now we've changed our vernacular. Again, do you have 15, 20 minutes to do it now? We can set up a Zoom, because almost everybody's familiar with Zoom now, or face-to-face, which I prefer. So Chris, back to you. Thanks, Gregory.
Yes, thanks, Gregory. Yeah, anything else on leads? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. When people tell me they do final expense mailers, but they created a campaign, like what's the difference? There's final expense in the CRM, and then there's creating a campaign, and that's with a certain vendor, but I don't know the name of it.
Court can maybe get you that information, or
Okay.
what FFL. Well, let's see. What is its lead support?
Yeah.
No,
Actually,
Family
leads. I don't know why we're getting a all of a sudden. Leads
Sorry.
at you're fine. Leads at FFLUSA.com.
1 second.
Yeah, leads at I don't know why. Leads at FFLUSA.com. You also have a company called Mid-Atlantic. I post that. I'll post it on Slack again this morning. That's another one. There's tons of companies out there that do it. I know Tim, Mark, and myself have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars. I guarantee you Chris has as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, I've just finally gotten myself to where I don't get ticked off if they don't work. But I'll tell you guys, this is my experience. And Mark, if you're still on, if you chime in, you're kind of our resident lead expert from that perspective, because you've done it before.
Okay.
If you're going to, or thank you, Mark, appreciate it. If you're going to order a drop, guys, if you're going to do a mail drop, is what it's called. If you're going to do less than 1,000, don't do it, because you're not going to get the type of results you get. It's basically like direct mail. So on average, you're going to get 3 to maybe 5% if you're lucky. So I'm going to let the expert talk about that. Stay in my lane. Mark, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely be in
I get
order. Direct mail drop. You want to find out, 1, where they're getting their list. 2, if the leads are exclusive. Because I'm telling you that a lot of these companies are strictly lead companies or reselling the same leads over and over again off of a mail drop. So just be careful with that. The ideal way to do it is to have the leads come directly to you. Logistically, that's going to be a little bit more expensive and it takes more effort. That's how I'm literally working on a direct mail campaign for myself right now that we're doing in-house. And I've set up a business reply mail account, so every lead will come to me. So be careful with that. And definitely, like Corey said, don't cheap out and try to mail 500, which is the minimum for first class. Mail at least 1,000. Just a few responses one way or the other can really skew your results. With final expense, you're hoping to get a 1 or 2% response rate. With mortgage protection, more in that 3 to 5% range, if not higher, if it's a really good list. So, make sure you're working with a reputable vendor. The ones that FFL has partnered with, I would say are, because they've been vetted. There's lots of them out there. You can do a Google search for final expense leads, and there's 50 companies that'll come up. So just be real careful with who you're working with. Ask about the list again, and ask if the leads are exclusive. That's a big deal.
Thank you, Mark. And I'm gonna, thanks, Jen. Great question. I'm gonna add this to this because I've heard a couple of horror stories of people that have just kind of gone rogue. I know that sounds funny because that's what we're known as a rogue IMO. Guys, don't go rogue with your leads. If you have questions, ask. Chris, I guarantee you, if he doesn't, a lead vendor that you're probably looking at, I guarantee you between Chris, myself, Gregory Pitts, Mark, or someone else that's in our ecosystem has probably used them and can tell you what to do. Before I buy any lead, if it's a new lead, I'll message either Todd, I'll message Tim, I'll message Mark sometimes, or I'll go to Hamadi, because that's kind of what Hamadi does and that kind of stuff. And I say, hey, have you heard of these guys? He's like, yeah. Anybody have any good results? He goes, oh, it's kind of so-so. Now I can make a decision from a place of strength, all right? Not just going in and throwing $1,500 at something that might be lighting my money on fire. So please, guys, we've seen people on our team do that. Don't throw money at this stuff until you talk to somebody first. You could really be hurting yourself big time. Thanks, Mark. Great question, Jen. We got about probably 5 to 7 minutes as we want to stay respectful of Chris's time. Mark, were you going to add something else? Could you just split up?
Oh, I'm good. No, I'm fine.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate it. Chris, back to you, man.
Can I
Sure.
ask one quick question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
It's a little bit, okay, so it's a little off topic from leads, but I want to try to pick the brain of somebody who's been doing this a while with a great team. So how do you feel about double booking your appointments to make sure that you have enough? Because I personally am terrified to do it because I'm afraid I'm going to totally tick off a client that I could have gotten a really good sale from if I choose the wrong client and then get no-showed or something.
Chris, can I add something simple before you do that?
Of course.
Okay. All right, great question, Renee. Absolutely fantastic question. One of the things that I don't book near as many appointments as you guys do, because for whatever reason, but here's the deal. When I was booking more appointments and out in the field a hell of a lot more than I actually should be now, What I would do is I use a system, and I'm sure somebody else does this. I didn't create this. I just came up with it in my head, and I've seen some other people do something similar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is 25%, 2 is 50, 3 is 75, 4 is 100. Okay. This isn't foolproof, but what happens is if my schedule fills up for Friday, Saturday, and I'm still dialing, and somebody says the only day that they can meet me is Saturday, when I'm booking my appointments, I'm trying to lock all of them down. But if I'm getting a sense when I'm booking that person, they're like, yeah, you can come out. No, I can't write anything down. I'm driving, those kind of things. And I'm getting to feel, that person set the appointment. I'm going to text them, do all that other stuff. But I'm kind of like iffy. I'm going to put a 2 behind that person's name when I put them on there. So if I'm all the way booked up and I've got 2 2s and I call somebody and they said, yes, I can meet you tomorrow. And yes, 1 o'clock is the only time that I can meet and you're going to book them. If I've got a 1 or a 2, I'm booking that one in front of the other one. I know that was long-winded. I hope that makes sense. Renee, does that help? Does that make sense before we swing to Chris? It probably has a better answer.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's what I did, and it worked. Because here's the deal: now I'm putting my son. I know this is recorded. I told Tim that I did this before. You guys are going to laugh at this. Okay, so this is a lead, right? If I had 2 appointments that I booked at the same time, and I went to the one and the one wasn't there, let's say that appointment was today. Okay, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do. So I'm going to write 10, 22, and let's say it's 9 o'clock. Let's say our appointment was supposed to be at 8. I'm going to write 9 a.m. So when I knock on their door, that's what I would write on the edge of the lead, and that's what I'm going to show them. I had an appointment with you today at 10:22. I had an appointment with you today at 9 a.m. And they go, oh man, I thought it was 8. And I'm like, sometimes I ask you for a window, but I had it written down at 9 o'clock. Every time I've done that, they've never gotten mad at me. Just saying. So, Chris,
I do it.
You've done it too,
Yeah,
Mark?
I would
works every time.
just definitely rate your. You can rate your calls, your prospects. Because you can engage them whether they're 1, 2, 3, or 4, A, B, C, or D, and then go to the better one first. What you think, and then you can always ask for forgiveness. Hey, I'm sorry, I thought it was at 9 o'clock, or gosh, they keep me so busy. I'm so sorry. I'll let them know not to double schedule me again. Always put it off on your boss. But
hey, Renee, also, go ahead.
Just go ahead.
I was just going to suggest, Renee, whenever you are setting the appointment, kind of figure out their schedule. Like if they're home at 5 and the appointment's at 6:30, I've done this many times where I got no showed at 4:30 or 5. I just go ahead and go to the next one. I don't wait around and twiddle my thumbs waiting for the 6:30. I just go ahead and go to the next one. And I've used the method Corey just explained. But if they get off at 5, they're going to be home. If they told you that, even though the appointment is 6:30, you can usually get in front of them. They're probably happy just to get it done and out of the way anyway, a little earlier. So that tends to work, and then you can still get to the other appointment. So double booking is not really a bad thing. I rarely do them at the exact same time. I might have some within 30 minutes of each other, but you can usually figure it out. Sometimes you run over, sometimes you run under, sometimes you get no showed. It seems like the day usually works out if you've got enough appointments set. If you've only got 2 or 3, it's gonna be a long day. If you've got 8 or 9 appointments, then you can make it work. That's all I got.
Good question, Renee. Thanks, Mark. Chris, back to you. 2 minutes, guys.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, the last thing is short, but it's very important, is the training, right? And so we all know the different trainings that are available. If you need a place, I always go to the Slack channel. On the general channel every morning, there's an entire list of all of the FFL Velocity and Family First Life training for that day, along with the links. Okay, so there won't be, I don't think there's the Genesis trainings are on there, but obviously you can go to the Genesis channel for that. But that's just a one-stop shop for me if I want to know what training is available. Now I'm going to tell you this. We started off the call, and just in case you weren't here, when Sean Mike became an integrity partner in October of 2019, which is just 2 years ago, Family First Life, the entire FFL, issued $7 million in business. This month, we've already issued $20 million through 2 weeks. So we'll probably end up with over $40 million in business. So that's from 7 to 14, from 14 to 28, and from 28, another 50%. So 250% growth in just 2 years. It's absolutely phenomenal. But guess what? The people that are more engaged in Family First Life, those are the people that are a part of that growth. Okay, if people aren't on the boat, they can't be in the rising tides. Okay, so if you're not a part of the trainings and you're not a part of the culture and the atmosphere, it makes it harder for you to have that same growth. Okay, the other thing I'll say about that, post on Slack, post on the Facebook group for FFL USA, share your selfies, give something back, let people know, hey, this is somebody that, I had to contact on reschedule me 3 or 4 different times, but I finally caught up with them. Or, hey, I'm brand new, and this was from an instant internet lead, or this was from a referral. Give something that's going to help somebody else, because there's lots of new people that haven't even started that are nervous, and it's just a good business practice to give back to others. And you can do that through Slack. You can give it to the 3,000, 4,000 people that are on there, or you can post it on the FFL USA group where it reaches 34,000 members. Okay, so that would be the last thing, is the training. So just to recap, time, you need your schedule and income producing activities within your schedule. Effort, track it so it's subjective, so it's objective and not subjective. Leads, consistent, diverse. They're all going to change. They're all going to be better sometimes and worse at the others. And then training. So that's what I got for you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Hey guys, any questions for Schiavo here before we let him run? All right, so we'll go and any key action ideas from our leadership. We'll start with Mark. Can we go back to you?
Kind of going back to the leads thing. If leads are running thin in the CRM, don't quit. Don't just hang it up. Go back and work what you got, and then find new lead sources. Work your referral base. Just don't hang it up just because leads are a little thin. That's just going to happen to everybody in every territory.
Yep, I would agree 100%.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mark. Tim, we still got you. You're still working with your card.
Oh yeah, baby.
There he is. Any key ideas you give our teammates for the weekend?
Yeah, just I tell you what, I've been having some really good success the last couple times out with Happy Agent. So that's certainly an option out there too. But again, guys, it's treat this like a business, and it will pay you very handsomely. And again, it's like Chris Schiavo has said, Corey said, everybody said, if you got questions, just ask. But get into the boot camp if you're just getting started, and take a couple days and go through that, and it'll just push you that much further ahead. So anyway, hope everybody has a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thanks, Bilo. We appreciate you. Nice day yesterday as well. Gregory Pitts, close us out. And Amy, I'm going to call on you here in about 30 seconds.
Hey guys, I really love what Chris said, his training and everything like that. I'm looking at my little notes there. And that first one, time. Your time is very valuable to you. So let's make sure that we are scheduling our day. He said, make sure you're in income producing activities between 7:30 at night and 7:30 to 8 p.m. 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 to 8 p.m. at night. Look at that time. And I know a lot of times it does get frustrating with, like, if you're making calls and people aren't answering it or hanging up on you, or you're making appointments and people don't show up, or you get there and they change everything. Stay in those income producing activities. And what I've done, I have, one thing that I learned at my former company, I forget what Corey calls the other companies, my former company, practice companies, is that when you put in the activity, the system owes you. So if you're putting in activity and things fail, the system owes you. Yesterday, I went 2.5 hours to go to do a presentation. 2 people showed up. On the way back, people started calling me from last week, and people started calling me that weren't at the event that I went to. I had to pull over to write business just because those people weren't, because they weren't there when they were supposed to, but because I put in the activity and I didn't get frustrated, I'm pulling over. Now, I may have pulled over in some shady places because I was in deep, deep country, Corey. So you guys pray for me. But I worked out, I'm still here with you guys. So stay in the activity. The system will pay you back. Do not ever get.
Before you mute yourself, Gregory, this is a positive thing, but I'm gonna put you out there for just a second. You mentioned something to me when we talked last week, and I love our conversations. You mentioned something to me that I think everyone needs to hear. And you don't have to, go any further to this, but you said to me, for the first time since I've been in insurance, I really, truly believe that I can write $10,000 a week. Did you or did you not make that statement to me?
Yeah.
And you also said because of the system here, you feel like that. What makes you, not to get into a podcast here, but what makes you think, what makes this system so much different than what you've done before that makes you think I can write $10,000 a week if I'm in the right activities?
Because one, the system works. I mean, everybody can say the system works, but I see successful people doing it, and I can call them and talk to them. Corey's busy. There has not been one time where I have called you and you had not either answered or called me right back. Tim Belo, this guy calls me and will talk to me for 20 minutes or more, and I know he's got a whole organization, the biggest organization in our group.
Yeah.
Mark, I've talked to him. Me and Renee, and I think I've said this before, me and Renee have talked, me and Brian have talked. Me and Chester, we fight. We literally fight like we're going to be out there in the middle of the street fighting, but trying to get this thing right. But after talking to those, I'm like, I can do this. I can go out here and I can do it. And then just following the system, following the little YouTube things, YouTube videos and stuff like that, with Vivian's on there and Eric and Grady and all of them guys, and you just try those little bitty things and then they work, you be like, get the heck out of here. And people appreciate that we don't hassle them. That's the thing and they've told me that. One guy told me the other day, he said, I've literally had 12 calls since I put in my lead, online. He said, you're the first person that's talking to me like a real person. I mean, so it's, and you go out there and write and you look up in a day, you have a decent day and you've written $2,000. You're like, wait a minute, I read $2,200 today and it's Monday or I'm looking, I know we start on Thursdays, but it's Monday. Man, look at it. I can do this. So it's out there to do.
Sorry about putting you on the spot, Gregory. So what I'll close with is what all of these gentlemen said. First of all, Chris, thank you for being on. Thanks for your time. You're running a huge organization. There's a million things you could do. I know you got a family and everything else. The fact that you're committed to taking the time to come on here once a month and pour into us is much appreciated. Guys,
can I share?
You absolutely can.
One last thing.
Yeah.
This is just from a, we have a responsibility. You guys may not know it because, Gregory, Corey, and myself, we've come from places where it's just really hard to even make ends meet. And I'm not going to say we have a responsibility, but we have the opportunity to make well in excess business profits, not cash flow, because that's not all our money, right? But business profits, we have the ability to make an abundance where we can help and serve others in ways that we choose, whether it's buying underprivileged children football equipment, or buying school supplies, or clothes, or coats, or presents, or medicine, or whatever it is that warms your heart. And I think that's something that maybe we don't, we get wrapped up in just trying to pay our bills. But here, you don't have to. We have a compensation. We don't have to knock on doors. There's absolutely no prospecting. And like Gregory said, we can go out and make $2,000, $3,000 in a day. And then we have that we can help our own family, friends, people we don't even know. So it just, I don't know if we talk about that some, but just please remember that you have the ability to help other people as well.
Well said. Well said, Chris. Guys, I'll end with this. First of all, thanks again, Chris. Thanks for our leadership. The questions that you guys asked, again, iron sharpens iron. Somebody probably had that question you have, but maybe didn't want to ask it, and that's how we get better. I'm very humbled and appreciative and blessed to be in this opportunity with you guys, and I don't say that lightly. I really don't. What an opportunity we have, what Sean Mike has created. What an opportunity we have to go out and be able to bless people when they'll need it the absolute most. And, you know, from a selfish standpoint, the income that you can make, where can you go? And in literally a matter of an afternoon, Chris, you gave somebody an age of 300 leads who went and made $4,000. That guy's probably never made $4,000 in a matter of a couple of days. A lot of us on here haven't. But when you start breaking that glass ceiling and people start to do things, Greg Birch went over 100,000. Ethan Patton goes over 100,000. Now Vivian's going over. It just starts to let people know. Then it just becomes the next norm, right? If you don't want to be $100,000 a month producer, you don't have to here. You don't recruit anybody. You don't have to here. I think this is the purest portion that I've ever seen of this business. If you want to come here and build and grow, there's all kinds of meetings. There's things that you can plug into, people you can call. But I'm begging you guys, please, those of you that are new and maybe dancing around with this thing and trying to figure out, oh, do I want to do this or not? Give this a year. Give it a year. If you got to work someplace part-time, that's fine. Give this a year, plug into this thing. I'm telling you, it will pay you handsomely. You will reward your family long after you're gone based on what Sean has put in place. And think of the families you're going to protect when they need it the most. It's just an unselfish thing to do, right? You get paid handsomely and the people you're able to help. It's just the perfect storm. So thank you guys for your time. Thanks for being on this morning. We appreciate all you do. It's Weekend Warrior time, guys. Bye for now. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Great
Bye,
job,
guys.
Chris.
Good luck, everybody.
Good, guys.
Great job. Thank you, Chris.